ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5 The Team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO, Mr. Zach Stanley.
Nick's back. We found him.
Whoa, you blew the lead right off the top of the show.
We found him.
We did, in fact, find Teddy Bear 2, Nick Steblenko. Welcome back. Where the hell you been?
Well,
he was hiding under a very large rock.
It seems as though nobody listens to me when I talk.
He was hiding under a boulder.
I told everybody last week that I would be out of town for a wedding this weekend and that I wouldn't be back until Tuesday.
You know what? We actually have proof of this. We could just listen back to Friday's show on the Star Fantasy League show. Thursday. You weren't on Friday. Jason
I wasn't on
here.
Friday. I was dead in a ditch, according to you guys. Yes.
No, Friday we had fired you.
You had that text from Nick, though, that said that he was going to be gone Monday, didn't you? Oh, no, wait.
No, nobody
There
did.
was no text.
Would you like a story?
Is it a story that's fit for air? Because we have a lot to get to on today's Star Fantasy
Is
League
it
show.
PG-13?
I fell asleep with my phone on the nightstand. There was a cold beverage next to me when I fell asleep, and when I woke up, that beverage had turned warm. When that happens, the water runs off, and it hits the phone. Down goes my phone.
What kind of cold beverage was it?
It was, maybe
And
a frosty adult beverage.
why would you fall asleep with a cold beverage next to you?
Because he had too many frosty cold adult beverages?
A few more before that, yes.
That sounds about right for a weekend wedding. That makes complete sense. I understand. I hope you had a lot of fun, but it's back to business. Nick Steblenko is back on the Star Fantasy League show.
All business today, baby.
Yeah, Jason Gringer got a little too big for his britches the other day. We had to let him know that he wasn't going to be on the show today because you're back.
He's so cocky with that smug little low voice that he uses.
Yeah, I can't believe he sounds really loud when he's on the show. It's because the microphone is maybe
he,
a centimeter
puts
from
it in his mouth.
Yeah,
it's right here.
Yeah, it's like NPR in here. We don't do that.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, we don't
do that again, Nick.
It was a little weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. All right, we got to get away from this. Actually, it's gonna get more uncomfortable for you guys today on the Star Fantasy League show. We're continuing our training camp breakdown with your rivals, the New England Patriots.
Little news from Bills camp yesterday. Sammy Watkins got poked in the eye and briefly went down, to which the entire crowd went a hush. Yeah, and then after that, he was with Sal Paolantonio and Ron Jaworski talking and having a good time, so he was fine. But it was,
Wow, thank you.
Don't want to see anything happen to him. I got my Sammy Watkins shirt on today.
I'm glad that because we are in the Rochester Buffalo market, that you need to always give us an update, even if it is Sammy Watkins getting poked in the eye.
Yeah.
Can you have a daily update on what Kevin Kolb is doing? Because I want to find out what he's doing. I know he's not on the team.
Why would I update on Kevin
Because
Kolb?
I want to know if he fell over, like making a sandwich and stabbed himself with a fork or something.
He's eating chicken fingers at the distillery as we speak.
But did he stab himself somehow?
With the chicken finger? No.
He falls down and hurts himself in the dumbest ways.
In the stomach.
So you're saying that he's still living here?
No, I'm just saying that he's worthless.
Oh, okay. Again, I'm not even going to mention the restaurant you said.
It's
because
the brutally
I feel
honest Star Fantasy
Yeah, I
League
feel
show.
like Nick was just attacking a restaurant, maybe
Sorry,
potential
No,
sponsor.
the restaurant's great.
It's not his fault he got paid
fantastic.
$25 million for playing three
Nothing.
games.
Yeah, he did nothing. That's just sad. All right, we got to get on to something a little less depressing than Kevin Kolb's career, except making millions of dollars for doing nothing. We are going to talk about the New England Patriots today. They got really close last season, despite not having what looked like the best offense. They took a nice little step back last year. They made it to the AFC title game, surprisingly, and lost to the best offense in the league.
Well, I mean, I honestly wasn't surprised because the fact is they play in a very weak division. Sorry, but they do. They play against three teams that are not good.
You really? Gasp. Oh, no.
So they play 6 games against a really weak division, so they get...
Yeah, they're always there, and given the way that the division has performed in recent years, they're usually getting a bye.
Yep.
So basically, they just need to win one game to get to the championship.
Yep.
Yeah,
and I think we all knew that they didn't have the tools to win last year, both sides of the ball. With Gronkowski out and the injuries to the rest of the offense, they took a major step back. hard to blame Tom Brady, but people are talking regression a little bit.
I can't believe it. I really don't believe that. That doesn't make sense to me.
You know what? Before that actually is my biggest offseason question before we get into the key additions and key losses on this team. Let's talk about that. You mentioned Tom Brady. The biggest question of the offseason is, was Tom Brady's 2013-14 season a sign of his decline or just an anomaly in his Hall of Fame career?
Did somebody send that?
No, I come up with the biggest offseason question for all 32 teams, and we go over them. How have you not learned this yet? You did this yesterday with me.
It really does sound like a lot of people are asking whether or not he's just going to regress. I don't understand how a guy throws for 4,300 yards with one receiver and everybody thinks that he's going to regress. That doesn't make any sense to me.
He's a guy like we talk about Peyton Manning turns these unknown guys into stars. Julian Edelman looked like a Pro Bowl caliber guy.
105 catches over the course of the season, and everybody thinks that it was him that did that? No.
A lot of overthrows last year, though, I will say. It was noticeable, the amount of overthrows that were going on. More noticeable because usually he gets his receivers miraculously in such a large amount of space.
But working with Aaron Dobson as a rookie, Kenbrell Tompkins as a rookie,
Danny Glass.
Those are not guys. Yeah, Danny Glass. Those are not guys that you can really run an offense with. Yeah. Tom Brady is a wizard, but come on, he still threw for 4,000 yards.
I'm not going to say that he's not an amazing quarterback because he is, but I think that historically that offense has probably been one of the most optimal offenses for a quarterback. A lot of quick hits, a lot of screens, a lot of time for him to throw when it isn't one of those screens.
Well, you have to keep in mind that he was sacked
several years of having the most time to throw of any quarterback in the league.
Zach, he was sacked 40 times last season. That's the most since his rookie year. The line didn't really get upgraded all that much except for Sebastian Vollmer's coming back. I mean,
and I think we all know how much they're missing Matt Light.
No, he probably.
No, oh yeah, they don't have an offensive line. That's very true. So I don't see how he can regress any further.
Yeah, their offensive line finally broke down a little bit. People were able to get to him. They didn't have the videos that they usually have.
Wow.
But
Spygate.
Heavy hitter. But no, I think he'll be fine. It did seem like he lost a little bit of zip last year.
I just don't know. I don't.
A little bit
agree.
of zip.
I don't
He's never
agree.
really been about zip though.
I think he's good for 4,500 yards again this year, and I think he'll have over 30 touchdowns.
All right, so you're making a big reach by saying one of the most recently bad career years he's had. He's going to tie.
I think he's going to.
It's a big reach, Nick.
No, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, you just said 4,500 yards.
I think he is easily good for 4,500 yards.
Easily,
why is 4,500 yards a bad thing? Because all of a sudden people are throwing for 5,000 yards?
I'm not arguing that it's a bad thing, but 60% isn't a very good thing for
him, his career.
Fine. Push me again. It's 4,800 yards.
Yeah, okay,
fine.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Bump it up, baby.
All right, we got to move on. We're spinning our wheels here with Tom Brady. But key additions to this team, the big one that stands out, Darrelle Revis and Brandon Browner, who will be serving a 4-game suspension to start the season. That definitely shores up a secondary that was kind of porous last season. And I mean
Darrelle Revis, and once Brandon Browner gets back, another issue for the Patriots.
Drugs.
But once he's able to get back, if he can put out what he's able to put out, they could be two of the best lockdown corners in the league, I think.
And I'm surprised that they didn't go more, trying to bolster their run defense because they were 30th against the run last season. I know they drafted Dominic Easley, but they're really going to roll out Tommy Kelly and Vince Wilfork coming off of that injury.
I was going to say, how much does that have to do with Vince Wilfork being out? Gerard Mayo was out last year. A lot of the guys up the middle that are used to being a stout run defense, those guys weren't even there. So I think they're just assuming they're getting something by just having the team even semi-healthy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this defense can improve all around. They were 26th in yards against overall last season. So, I mean, these are great additions, and I think that the loss of Talib is not going to be that big of a deal once Browner comes back.
Well, exactly. When you get rid of Aqib Talib and you bring in one of the best cornerbacks in the league.
They upgraded.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And, I mean, Brandon Spikes to me was a little bit of a loss. Granted, I'm glad that he's on the Bills. But I do think it was a little bit of a loss for them, especially in preventing the run because they have struggled with that.
Speaking of the run, what about LeGarrette Blount? I think he's a monster loss for this team. They kind of scoffed and didn't offer him that much money, and he just bolted.
I don't think so.
I don't care about him at all.
He was a big change of pace for that team.
I do not care.
Yeah, I don't. I think Shane Vereen being out most of the season last year gave Blount the opportunity that he had.
But he was killing it. He really was. Around the goal line, he was killing it. He had some big games.
Absolutely, that's fine. But I also think that they got a draft pick in there that's going to stand out a little more.
And there's a reason that LeGarrette Blount isn't suddenly going somewhere else and starting now. That is,
I bet you he could have. He went to Pittsburgh for the money.
There is no way that he would be a starting running back.
I completely agree.
Absolutely not.
All right, speaking of starters, let's go into the camp battles. I think there's a running back battle brewing here. Stephen Ridley has been the guy the past 2 seasons, but man, he cannot hold on to the ball. He's proven that he's kind of just not. He's the guy now, but I don't think he is the guy for the New England Patriots.
I like Stephen Ridley a lot.
Why?
I think if he is able to turn that fumbling around, which I think is completely reasonable that he can, I think he could be one of the more dynamic running backs, at least in the East.
That's something that you can work on, holding onto the football. That is one skill that you can work on. You can't really work on speed all that much when you get to this level, but fumbling the football, holding onto the football, you can absolutely work on that. I don't care if he's got to carry the thing around with him 24 hours a day. You hold that thing tight to your chest. On the other side, though, I do have to say that I think Shane Vereen has this contest won already.
Yeah, I do
when
too.
he was in the game, he was proven to be an all-star. I mean, that guy was just fantastic.
He's Darren Sproles 2.0. He can do everything out of the backfield. He's just a pinball.
And I think that it would help Tom Brady a heck of a lot more to have a guy like that in the backfield because he can check down immediately. He won't get hit as much.
That's his
But
favorite thing.
He's not the pounded guy, though.
So I understand.
So to say that he has suddenly won this, will he get as many snaps? Possibly. If they end up having more injuries, will he end up in wide receiver sets with Ridley also on the field? Could also happen. But Ridley is the pounded guy on the ground, and he has the versatility and the speed to be a very effective runner in the league. I think Shane Vereen is more of a, like a Gio Bernard downgrade.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is I think that they shift their offense more to get Vereen more snaps in there. I also think we're leaving somebody out of there. They drafted a running back named James White, and that man, he is very good. 111 yards per game for Wisconsin last season. I think that they will find a way to factor him into their offense.
Well, yeah. I mean, we all know that the Patriots can pretty much find a role for anybody that they're able to
see
keep
you later,
on their
Brandon
team.
Bolden, though. He's pretty.
Well, yeah, I think
if you bring another guy, he's gone.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to make room for more talented players. And I think that if Ridley does not solve his fumbling problems, that's where you see the rookie step in. And now all of a sudden you have a guy that was off everybody's radar to start the season, really taking over a lot of snaps on the ground.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think this is one of the biggest battles coming out of camp for the Patriots. And also, we'll get to it after the break, but I think the wide receiver for this team, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of guys for just a few spots. So we'll talk about that when we come back. We've also got a little spirited bit of John Old's mailbag if we can get to it, some fantasy implications for New England Patriots. We got it all coming after the break. And you're listening to Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
All right, so during the break, as always happens on the Star Fantasy League Show, everyone starts bickering at each other. There's just bets made and challenges and yo bro step up to the plate, those kind of things.
There was no yo bro going on.
I believe
nobody said that.
Bickering. I would call it spirited discussion.
Oh yeah, that's
of
the way
men
to say it.
with a great amount of knowledge.
We were talking about the differences between a PPR, which is points per reception league, which means you get a full point, as opposed to the normal, which you don't get a full point. Makes sense. And I believe, Zach, you're on the Stephen Ridley train, and Nick, you are on the Shane Vereen train.
I just think that Vereen is the most versatile back in this backfield. I think that Tom Brady loves to check the ball down, and I think that I don't think there's any way that Ridley can take more snaps away from Vereen. I just don't think he takes any away. So if that's the case, I think Vereen, barring any injury, will healthily outdo him.
Healthily? I like
Wow.
that. Wow.
All right. Well, I completely disagree with that. We'll see how it plays out.
All right.
And that's the fun of it all, you know?
Exactly. I mean, that's
because usually I'm right, and so that works out well.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best part about fantasy in general. You get to actually put this into play and see what happens.
I love it.
All right. One more thing I want to talk about before we talk about average draft position, ADP, is the wide receiver battle for New England. There are a lot of receivers. Last year saw the rookies Aaron Dobson and Kembrell Tompkins. They got Brandon LaFell, who I actually like quite a bit from Carolina. I thought he had a nice Nice little breakout year. 49 catches, 627 yards, 5 touchdowns on a team that really didn't pass the ball all that well. So he was a nice little standout. And then you have the two big guys, or I guess big guys, Edelman and Danny Glass, Amendola.
Big little guys?
Yeah, really.
I really don't trust Amendola anymore. I mean, his injury problems are just well documented, and I think that he's about as strong as a twig at this point.
So who do you think is the number one? You really think Amendola?
I think Edelman would still get the most catches on this team, but I do think Brandon LaFell is going to make a big splash.
I don't understand what the deal is with no news or comments coming out about that. I mean, I've heard nothing out of anybody fantasy-related news about the promise of Brandon LaFell, and I just don't get it.
Well, I
love him.
starts Thursday.
Okay, well, no, but I'm talking about the anticipation. I mean, everybody's talking about Aaron Dobson right now and how he's going to fit in and whether Kenbrell Tompkins will have any relevance compared to what people thought he might do last year. Brandon LaFell, I mean, he was.
I loved him.
I picked him up becoming the target guy in Carolina.
I picked him up week 5 or week 6 last year. He actually played on my roster in, I think, a playoff situation, to be honest.
I mean, if this guy can get 50 catches with Cam Newton under center, and we know that he loves to run the ball, he's going to have Tom Brady throwing for 4,800 yards.
Yeah, 4,650 yards to be exact. All right,
so there's plenty to go around there, and I think LaFell will take his fair share.
Yeah, let's get into this. For ADP, average draft position, we use one of the bigger sites to get these numbers here. These are standard leagues. The names that we were just mentioning, Aaron Dobson and Brandon LaFell, are listed as wide receiver 57 and wide receiver 63, respectively. Average draft position 143 and 147. So that's pretty much the last round.
Yeah, you're pretty much getting them in the 12th round.
Yeah, I don't know who it's going to be because I do like Aaron Dobson's athleticism. I think he still has a lot of promise, and he showed some big playability last year. But Brandon LaFell, same thing. I mean, he's a big, strong guy. He kind of reminds me of a slight downgrade from Kendall Wright.
I think that either of these guys, you could definitely take a flyer on them, and if they really fall that far, take a flyer and just love the heck out of it because one of them is going to emerge as a great wide receiver.
Every year there are these wide receivers. This is the position you can find a lot of. That's why I don't advocate for taking wide receivers really high unless it's obviously Calvin Johnson. That's kind of what you do. But if you can get these guys around the 14th, 15th, 16th rounds, take a flyer on a couple of these guys. One of them is going to end the season on your roster, guaranteed.
Yeah, it just seems like Brandon LaFell could be a guy that Tom Brady would love to play with. And I was really surprised that Carolina let him go, especially once they let Steve
receivers.
Well, I know once they let Steve Smith go, I was like, LaFell is staying. You know, he's the new guy. He's going to be the guy.
I don't understand what Carolina's doing. They were just pissing Cam Newton off, is what they're doing. Right. Hey, you won, 12 games last year? Screw it. You don't need receivers.
Speaking of ADP, though, Stephen Ridley is currently at the end of the second round, while Shane Vereen is in the middle of the 6th.
And that means what? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I have him in the 6th
You're completely
round.
No.
That's what I've got.
No. I have him in the 6th.
You're looking at running back. You're looking at total running backs. Oh. Shane Vereen is the 26th running back. Stephen Ridley is listed as the 29th. Shane Vereen's actually going 4 spots higher on average in that site's
What are you looking
leagues.
at, ESPN?
We don't talk about do not mention that name here.
I have 2 different ADPs in front of me, and both of them have Vereen listed higher. So
yeah. That's pretty standard.
I think the most shocking one has to be Tom Brady's draft position. In my opinion, I don't think that he falls the 10th overall quarterback behind RG3, Russell Wilson, and Colin Kaepernick. I just don't think it happens. I think he's going to have more touchdowns this year. If Gronkowski stays healthy, there's 10 right there. So I think he goes up, way up. I don't understand 10.
I rescind my previous comment. It looks like you're correct.
Yeah, I was saying, I think if both of us have the same information,
I appreciate
you're
your
incorrect.
honesty.
All right, anybody else stand out to you that you're looking at here? I think Julian Edelman's a little bit high, although you know what you're getting with him as a 71st overall ADP, 25th wide receiver.
Julian Edelman is kind of concerning for me. So are a lot of the other wide receivers for New England. The only wide receiver that actually did better with Rob Gronkowski on the field was Aaron Dobson. The only one. So I don't know. I'm a little skeptical of that. I don't know if he'll be able to have the same effect. I mean, he became the target guy. Amendola went down. Gronkowski went down. And he became the guy that was reliable that Tom Brady has been with before. And we saw his production decline a little bit even in the second half of the season, while Gronkowski still wasn't even there. I just don't think he's a guy you can rely upon when you look at the people that are surrounding him in the wide receiver rankings right now.
Being a small wide receiver is not the easiest thing in the world either. I know we've seen Wes Welker, Brandon Stokely. These guys have actually made it work.
They're the exception.
But they are the exception.
Yeah.
If you get crushed across the middle, the game over.
Yeah, see you later, buddy. All right, that'll wrap up our camp talk about the New England Patriots. Tomorrow we're going to move on to the New York Jets, the New York Football Jets. No, nobody cares.
Nope.
No, I really don't.
That's well. Then you know what? We'll talk about them for 5 minutes and then spend the rest of the time on something else.
Sounds good.
If nobody's interested, tweet us at SFL Show if you don't actually want to care about the New York Jets.
Except for my boy Gino.
Great. We'll spend 2 minutes talking about it, I'm sure.
Oh, no.
All right, but we do need to move on to a couple questions in John's mailbag. You do send these in tweeting at SFL Show, so we got to read them for you. First question comes from Cameron J. The Cleveland Cavaliers will reportedly sign top pick Andrew Wiggins this week, making him untradeable for 30 days. Is this much ado about nothing or a sign to the Timberwolves to make a deal soon?
And I'm not really sure what they're doing here. I don't know if they're trying to force the hand or what. I think if they're able to get a deal lined up with Andrew Wiggins, if he's part of it, if it's 30 days from now, who really cares? I think the offer is going to be on the table, and they can agree in principle to whatever they're going to do and then actually sign off on it 30 days from when he actually signs. I don't think it really makes a big difference.
Is there anything that says that if they don't sign him in a certain amount of time, then they lose him, like in baseball or something?
Yeah, we actually, that's a story. I don't think we'll get to it today, but
yeah,
baseball makes absolutely no sense with their rule. No, NBA, I'm pretty sure you can just leave them or send them somewhere. That you still own their rights. Like if they go overseas, you own they belong to you.
Well, I think you have to do something before a certain period of time, but it's not any time. It's not any time soon.
They just hold out though. If you don't, it's like football. They just hold out if you don't sign them.
So I mean, I don't know.
But they don't have the right. Yeah, but they don't have the right to demand a certain contract.
No.
They have like a standard amount that they're.
Yeah, his contract is going to be $5.5 million.
Right.
That's the standard rookie scale contract for the first overall pick, which, let's be honest, if this kid's anywhere near what they say he's going to be, that's a bargain.
I mean, nobody's going to draft a top pick and not sign him anyways.
Although, this is why I think this is much ado about nothing. Anthony Bennett, number 1 overall pick last season, didn't sign until August 21st to his rookie contract. So what are we talking about here? I think they're using this like publicity of saying, oh, we're going to sign him this week as a way to say, hey, Minnesota, get your crap together. Just make this deal so we don't have to sign him and then wait 30 days.
But there's still no confirmation that Andrew Wiggins has been put on the table.
But if Minnesota needs to get their crap together, then Cleveland really needs to get their crap together because they keep talking about, no, we're not going to put Andrew Wiggins in this trade. Oh, yeah, wait a second. Hang on. We're just kidding. We're going to put him in there. We were just joking. I don't even know what they're doing anymore, and I really don't care. Just either sign him or don't, or trade him or don't. I don't care.
Crap or get off the pot is what you're saying.
But now it looks like the Chicago Bulls have thrown their hat in the ring.
Everybody's got their hat in the ring. It's Kevin Love. He's a top 5 player.
I threw my hat in the ring. That's why I'm not wearing one today.
I like it.
They have some people that they could definitely tempt Minnesota with. If they made a trade with Jimmy Butler Taj Gibson to put them together, that's a great package.
That's a pretty deal. All right, we got to get on to my last question here. I love this question. Sammy W. writes, Colby Lewis decided to throw a hissy fit over what he described as an unwritten rule of baseball being broken in Saturday's game. Is he a bit delusional, or does he actually have a point here? All right.
This guy has always been a moron.
Yeah, he is.
He literally has always been an absolute clown.
He's a Chudley clown.
I don't even understand what he's trying to say. I think they were down 2 runs, and Rasmus bunted.
Yeah, we have. Okay,
it was 2-0.
We have to paint the scene. He's complaining because Colby Rasmus decided to bunt when they had the shift on, which meant everybody was shifted over, and then he bunted to the exact opposite side where nobody was on third base. Okay, if he's saying this is taking advantage of an unwritten rule by bunting against a shift, isn't shifting against
right? This is the same as Rasmus arguing that there shouldn't be shifts allowed.
Yeah.
It really is.
The exact same thing.
Like, okay, honestly.
It actually might be worse.
What, the shift?
Because you pack one side of the field. So who's, like, the fact that he's bunting because you're deciding to pack one side of the field.
It's strategic.
Yeah, right. You pull strategy and he pulls strategy.
I think Colby Lewis is throwing a hissy fit because he's having an unbelievably horrible season, as are the Texas Rangers, being the worst team in Major League Baseball.
Didn't I pick when we were talking about the Central? I believe that the Texas rotation was my chud of the half season.
Yeah, they stink.
And guess what, Colby Lewis? You're in that Chudley rotation.
Go away. Just go away. I'm saying it. Go away.
Yeah, I'm okay with saying that. Like, I don't understand the whole unwritten rules of baseball thing. The baseball purists say there are these rules you have to follow, like don't bunt during a perfect game, don't bunt during a no-hitter. Like, why not?
Yeah, well, they also say that there's an unwritten rule that when you're a rookie, the veterans on the team buy you your first suit.
Wait, what?
Yeah, okay. If you play for the Yankees and you make $25 million a year, that makes perfect sense. But if you play for the San Diego Padres and your best veteran makes $2 million a year, why is he going to buy you a suit? He can probably afford to put food on his table, buy a nice house, and maybe get a few nice cars, too.
That's food on his table.
Why would he go buy you a suit? He would go buy somebody else's suit.
Can probably afford some microwave meals with his $2 million.
I think he flew in some lobsters from
I'm not saying he's poor, okay? I'm saying I would take care of my family before I take care of some
if the veterans are putting money together for a suit, that's like a couple grand each.
For 5 or 6 rookies?
This might be the best argument that you've ever gotten heated up over.
This is stupid.
Don't buy suits for players.
The unwritten rules
Worst
of baseball
rule.
are ridiculous.
All right, coming after the break, we're talking written rules. We're talking Tuesday Daily Fantasy Baseball on StarFantasyLeagues.com. And you'll listen to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at StarFantasyLeagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League show with Donald, Teddy Bear 2, and the Deucey Moose. Only on the Team.
Teddy Bear 2, it's very nice to have you back. We were worried that you were in a ditch somewhere, and we were very upset.
No, I would have put somebody else in a ditch first.
Wow, look at you. He is flexing the guns on the Star Fantasy League show, and nobody listening can see it, so why are you doing it?
And he just admitted that he might commit future acts of violence.
This is true. We're going to probably have to bleep out everything on this show if he gets arrested.
It's a fireable offense.
Yep.
And he ditched people.
You've already been fired. He was fired on Thursday's show.
I didn't throw them in the ditch. I placed them.
I placed them gingerly in the ditch. All right, we need to get to Daily Fantasy Baseball for Tuesday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. You got just over an hour to set your lineups for your games tonight. We're going to give you all the stacks of the day, all the pitchers you need to put in to make your best lineup on StarFantasyLeagues.com.
Stack of the day.
No, we're not going straight into stack of the day. That's the last segment. God, do you ever listen to this show?
I thought that was the first segment.
What? No, we are going over the stacks.
So we're going to talk about stacks,
there
and then we're going to have the stacks of the day.
All right, you want to tell them what? You want to tell them what? Yeah, no, not stacks.
Okay.
Stacks. You want to tell them what stacks are first?
Yeah, a stack is when you put together a group of players from one team into your lineup because you believe that they are going to be productive offensively as a team.
Against a chud.
Against a chud.
Usually, yeah, on the Star
Modern
Fantasy
day
show,
chud.
we talk about chud pitchers, which means they're just not good. They're pitchers that you like to target because they like to give up lots of runs or home runs or walks, anything that's going to gain you a lot of fantasy points.
And by and large, we feel bad for the chuds because we take advantage of them.
And today I feel really bad because I feel like the schedule produced more than half of the pitchers are chuds today.
Yeah.
Which, okay, honestly, I want to ask, before we get into anything, on a slate that is just this awesome for offense, how do you go about this? Because I'm seeing at least half of these people have over 4 ERAs. Like, they're pretty bloated.
I think there's a lot of opportunity to find some value here.
I think you pick and choose, too. I don't know if you want to go full-on stack with everybody. I mean, you can, but...
You can look at some valuable stacks for sure and then be able to get some of the larger-end pitchers, which I think you're going to need to do tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There's too many people that are concerning. I mean, there's only a few players up there, that feel like that are guarantees.
Yeah,
really.
so let's get to these stacks and all that good stuff. Players from different offenses that we can get in. Actually, I'm going to start out with a stack that I just really, really love. Yesterday, I believe it was Jason who had his value play as Ian Desmond from Washington, right? Was that
You're stealing my stack right now.
Stealing mine, too.
Well, yeah, come on. They're the best one of the day because this game is Washington at Colorado. They're going up against Johan Fland, who I think is a dessert. Is he a dessert? No?
Flambe?
No, Flan. No? Is he not a dessert? I'm confused. This guy's had one start.
Oh, that's flan.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I enjoy a good flan.
I love this Washington team. I was high on them yesterday. I got Desmond in there. Man, what are they doing with their lineup, though? Harper didn't play again yesterday in a great matchup. Is he injured? What's
what
he
are you
doing?
talking about? He's a lefty going against a lefty.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Tell me. Just go ahead and tell me.
413 weighted on base average against lefties. You have a problem with that?
Yeah, I do, because he's not hitting this year.
Okay, those numbers are this year, though.
How many at-bats is that, John?
It's like 70, something like that.
Thank you.
Still, okay.
No, that's not enough, and they're doing what they can because they have a ton of righties. They have They have Jason Worth, Anthony Rendon, Zimmerman, Ramos, Desmond. They have plenty of right-handed bats. Why would they put Bryce Harper out there?
Because
he's not playing well.
Ever since he turned into that flaming baseball that was floating through the air.
That's a Gatorade commercial.
It's his fault.
Yeah,
you stole that from a Gatorade commercial.
Right. I'm saying when he turned into that, that's when it went downhill.
Yep.
All right. So you're not high on Bryce Harper. If he's in the lineup, I'm putting them in. I don't care.
Too.
He's at a price $52.35. StarFantasy.com. I kind of have to play him at that price.
He's got the power.
But let's be honest. Ian Desmond yesterday was an absolute beast. He either won you or lost you a league if you didn't start him.
Yeah, he's getting a major bump right now. He's definitely going to keep going up if he's able to continue playing the way that he's playing.
Yep, his salary will not be this low.
And really, the Nationals overall are kind of on a tear right now.
That they are. They want to prove that they're a player.
They're a player.
They're a player.
There you have it.
All right, where else are we going since you guys yelled at me so much for stealing a stack?
Boo, John.
All right, Zach, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to Washington. No, I mean...
Great, thanks. That helps.
I'm keeping my eye on Detroit again.
Wow.
Which is not surprising going up against Chase Anderson.
No, it's not surprising because it's you picking Detroit.
Which is not surprising because it's me picking Detroit. And, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity, I think, to find some value in this lineup right now with Suarez and Avila.
I was going to say Avila. You hate him so much.
He's just so low, and he has exhibited some power this year. We all know that he has power. The big thing is that on StarFantasyLeagues.com, you get subtracted for strikeouts significantly, and Avila loves to do that.
Yes, he does.
So
that's why I never put him in.
That's one of my worries, but also Austin Jackson. I mean, he was my play. He was my value play yesterday. He had a home run. He had a double. He's kind of coming around a little bit. He hit 300 last month. So I think there is some opportunity to find some value there and be able to get a Miggy and a V-Mart in.
A Viggy Mart.
That's
Viggy
the combo.
Mart. There you go.
It's a lethal combo.
I'm perfectly okay with that. That's pretty much everybody I have from that lineup in there. Chase Anderson, I can't find anybody in that rotation for Arizona that I like.
Yeah.
Wade Miley's been okay. I have to give him some props. He's been less Chudley recently.
He stinks.
4 of his last 5 starts have been like quality starts, which is really surprising for him.
I tried to tell you. He was hitting his stride.
What do you got for your stack?
Well, I got 2 that you can pick from, the Yankees and the Sox, and you guys laughed at me when I said that they were actually going to have a shot at winning this division, and
who?
Both
the
of
Yankees
them,
or the Sox?
The Sox. Sox came out and they won 5 straight.
Hold on. When would I be laughing at you?
They're still.
He's trying to act like I've never laughed at you for saying that.
I heard a laugh.
I also recall myself merely saying that I didn't think they were going to win the division.
I heard cackling from both of you.
Oh, yeah. As a diehard Red Sox fan from Boston, I was totally like, yeah, they're always out of it. Yep.
So now that you guys have gotten your cackling out of the way and you believe in both of my picks there, I think that
7.5 back?
Nick Martinez is on the hill for Texas, so I love New York. They're at home. I think that somebody's going to get a bomb. Ellsbury, Teixeira, Gardner, Beltran.
Texas probably out again.
Is he out again, really?
They're saying 4 to 5 days. He's probably going to miss, so I'm assuming that includes today. I'm not really – these things you don't know until the last second. You have an hour to check lineups and make sure he's in there.
Okay. Get the other guys in there, big lefties. And then for Boston, they have a ton of righties, and if Johnny Gomes is in there, then you can put Pedroia, Napoli, and Gomes in there. Shane Victorino's kind of a roll of the dice because he's just coming back. I'm not sure if he's going to be starting.
Didn't I tell you not to mention that name ever again on this show?
Shane Victorino.
Stop
Shane
it.
Victorino.
He's going to show up here and decline us an interview if he shows up.
The flying
Didn't he already deny us an interview?
I know, but if you say his name 3 times back to back, he's going to show up, deny us an interview, and leave.
In the mirror behind you?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I'm not okay with that at all. We just all turned around to see if there's a mirror in here.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
There's definitely not a mirror in this.
It looks like there's a place for a mirror, though.
Yeah, probably.
But don't put one there because otherwise he'll come.
The Sox blew up for 14 runs yesterday.
They did.
And they have a good shot at doing that against J.A. Happ.
Yeah, the hapless J.A.
The hapless Happ.
Yeah, there's a guy I don't think you mentioned in there. I don't know if you said it. I was barely listening.
Shane Candyman Victorino?
No. Christian Vasquez.
What
do you mean, He's an inexpensive guy. He's a catcher. He's played 6 games. Has not been negative at all.
Well, you picked him, so naturally I have to be negative about it.
Oh, you didn't know I was going to pick him.
No, I'm just kidding. I know. Yeah, he's great. I do love him, and I'm very happy that he got called up and has been playing well. I'm upset that Mookie Betts got sent back down now.
Did he really?
Yes, he
Again?
did. He got sent back down to Pawtucket. They said that he's too young and needs to develop more.
What a surprise.
It's an unfortunate surprise.
It was a nice little stint. There was some excitement around the league. And
before we get to the pitchers, I just want to quickly mention, man, those Chicago Cubs going up against Eric Stultz and the Padres, I'm kind of okay with putting a couple of them in there. I know we We hate talking about them so much. But
I got to steal your term here. This is just a big old dumpster fire of a game.
It is.
This is just a bag of trash.
How many total home runs do these teams have?
7, and they're all Anthony Rizzo. They're all Anthony Rizzos.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna put somebody in, put in Anthony Rizzo. He's on a tear right now. I think he has 3 home runs in his last 4 games.
Yeah, like the biggest problem with looking at these teams is not even just that they don't produce runs. They don't hit for power. So then even when you're in a favorable matchup and it's tempting when you're looking at a bad pitcher opposing them, it doesn't matter.
All right, let's talk about pitchers, because in this game, opposing Eric Stultz is Kyle Hendricks at the minimum on StarFantasyLeagues.com. I'm interested in him. His first start, he had 7 strikeouts. He had a fairly decent game, and this is against San Diego, one of the worst offenses in the league.
Yeah, they are the worst offense. No, they are literally the worst offense. They are like 30th in everything.
They're 30th against right-handers. Yeah, that helps.
And they just lost Chase Headley today.
See you later.
Traded to the Yanks.
Yep, he's one of their best offensive threats.
So,
too.
Yeah, it could actually be a really good night to play him. You're right.
So the Yanks are still poised.
They are. They're ready to go.
I tried to tell John they were making a run yesterday. He wasn't having any of it.
Yeah, well, their pitching staff is really
somehow these guys are coming in and pitching well.
Well, what do you mean, like Whitley and Phelps?
Yeah.
Because
Green was good for a while last night.
Yeah.
He had a good little run, and then they lost.
So.
All right, so since we said a lot of the pitchers are Chudley, they're guys you do not want to put in your lineup, the 2 top names we got to talk about are Scott Kazmir and Adam Wainwright. If you had to pick one of these guys, are you spending the money for Wainwright, or are you dropping down a couple thousand and picking up Kazmir?
I'm not going to spend the money on Wainwright because I think that there's too many bats out there tonight that you're going to want to spend your money on. And I know that the rest of the pitchers out there aren't really that great, but I'd rather take a chance on a pitcher than I would – or take a chance on a guy that's a lower price as a pitcher and get more bats in there, just because the fact is that the ceiling for these batters is higher. If somebody hits 2 home runs, you're automatically in the running. Automatically in the running for a GP.
So you don't think on a night like this with these pitchers that you could get guys that are of better value that still have the ability to hit those home runs?
What do you mean?
I'm just saying I always lean toward taking pitchers that I'm absolutely confident in.
I think the ceiling for a pitcher is always lower. I mean, you see that there's a couple of guys that have gotten up above 15 fantasy points.
Barely. There's perfect games.
Exactly. And other than that, you're looking at a very strong night being somewhere between the 10 to 14 fantasy point range. Whereas with the bats, you never know. You really could get 3 or 4 guys that hit a home run, and all of a sudden you are just sitting pretty.
All right, a guy we have to talk about quickly is a guy with a great matchup is Jacob deGrom in Seattle. When he pitches against really inconsistent offenses, he just has great games, great upside. He had two of his last starts over 10 fantasy points. He's under 13,000 on StarFantasyLeagues.com. I actually have him as my pitcher of the day because I think his value is just going to make him at the top slot.
Yeah, I love it tonight.
Yeah, I love this guy. I mean, we talked about him and Wheeler when they were down in that 9,000 range. DeGrom's come up, but I don't think it really matters at this point. If you've actually watched these games, which we get to on SNY here in Rochester, then you've seen how talented he is. And in this matchup, in this park, it seems perfect.
High strikeouts, a team that strikes out at a high clip. I like all of that math. That just makes me love DeGrom even more. I'm pretty much going to go with him. One of the inexpensive guys, it's probably going to be Kyle Hendricks, to be honest with you. And then maybe Scott Kazmir to round out my pitching lineup. But it's really hard to navigate when you only have maybe 6 pitchers total that you're interested in tonight.
Yeah, I would imagine that DeGrom's going to be a pretty hot pick.
And if he's not, honestly, there's something wrong with daily fantasy sports.
Yeah, he can get a ton of Ks and he can go deep into games because he keeps his pitch down count and gets ahead of batters.
That is true. All right, coming after the break, we have to give you all of our top plays, top batters, top pitchers, value plays, all that good stuff. For Tuesday, you got just over an hour to set your lineups. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
Welcome back to the Star Fantasy League show, and we have to give you our top plays of the day for Tuesday. Just an hour left to set your lineups for tonight. We're going to give you all the guys you need to make the best lineup to win your leagues.
Get down to camp this week. Go see the Bills.
No, we're talking baseball.
Oh, yeah.
No Bills.
Sammy Watkins.
No, you're not picking Sammy Watkins as your batter
I've
of
got
the day.
Sammy Watkins. He can do anything.
I actually like slamming Sammy Watkins. That's a pretty good nickname.
All right, I'm going with Scott Kazmir against Houston. Love the ability to get a high amount of strikeouts. Houston can be so miserable. Scott Kazmir really hot right now. So hot right now. And then
awesome. Thank you for that reference. I love that.
And then I guess I'm going to do the Detroit stack because I'm guessing you're going to take Washington. So that's you, Donald. I'm talking to you.
I saw you looking at me.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go with the Detroit stack, and I'm going to put Victor Martinez, who almost got a hold of one last night and didn't get one. I'm going to pick him again. And I'm going to pick Austin Jackson again, who is still sitting pretty right there below 6,000. Hard to avoid with the way he's hitting right now.
What a surprise for those of you who listen to the show
back
before.
up at the top of the order, baby.
For anyone who's listened to the show ever in the history, Zach always picks at least one Detroit Tiger
as
in the
you can
last
see,
segment.
I had the Washington people written down today, but I'm always happy to pick Detroit. And by the way, Justin Verlander with the victory last night.
Thanks. Awesome. Great. All right, Nick, go ahead.
That was fantastic. All right, my play of the day, batter of the day, is going to be Jason Worth. He's about 8,300 going up against Johan Fland in Colorado, where the air carries. Fland. We're in Rochester. Fland. Okay?
Perfect.
I love the supporting cast around him with Zimmerman, LaRoche, and Rendon, so I really think he's got a chance to get a hold of one tonight. Value play is going to be Johnny Gomes going up against J.A. Hapless Hap in Toronto, and I love Boston right now. I think they're going to keep this streak going. My pitcher of the day is going to be a little bit different. I got Homer Bailey.
Oh, God, what are you doing?
I'll tell you what I'm doing if you just calm down for a second.
Oh,
God. He's averaging 6.65 fantasy points per game versus Milwaukee in 3 starts this year. Plus, I think that Cincinnati knows that they need to win, and Homer Bailey actually has the stuff to get it done. So
a couple shows ago, I can't remember, it was last week or something, I talked up Homer Bailey. If he can come around and be that guy behind Cueto, he has the stuff to do it. It's just been a major consistency issue for him this year.
Yep, and stack them Angels tonight against Miguel Gonzalez.
Oh, Miguel Gonzalez is bad. All right, I guess it's my turn. Man, another Chud we haven't mentioned. Johan Pino had a couple okay starts and then has been getting shelled ever since for Minnesota. Michael Brantley, he's expensive. I know. He's at $10,758 for those Cleveland Indians. I love him, honestly. That lineup protects him because there are so many lefties. Anytime you go up against a crappy righty, get those lefties in at the middle of the order.
That's a good matchup. I like that one, too.
Yeah, I like that a lot. DeGrom. Just keep getting him in.
Did he appear? Where is he?
No. He's gonna be like, oh, you summoned me, cool, thanks.
Just a strikeout stud
right now, he's been
too.
Great. He's going up against Seattle. In Seattle, it's a great place to pitch. They strike out at a high clip, and they're just terrible on offense. And you mentioned J.A. Hapless, not J.A. Hapless Hap. Come on.
That's what I said.
J.A. Hapless.
Haplestiltskin.
What the heck does it matter? It's the same thing.
I like Christian Vasquez for the Red Sox quite a bit. Really inexpensive, $45.70 on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Get him in. He's at a position that you need to find some value at catcher. You can get him in there. And like I said, get those Nationals in there. I love them. Jason Worth, 100%. And apparently don't go on Bryce Harper because Nick will yell at you.
Yeah, I'll yell at you. I'll yell at you all day.
I like Jason Worth as well, though.
Rendon,
8,300.
Worth.
He's sitting pretty right now.
Yeah,
and this guy Fland, only 14 innings pitched so far, but he has looked miserable versus righties.
I can't believe it. We agree on something. Jason Worth, I like him a lot tonight.
Yep.
I love it. You know what I like? We changed our little schedule up a little bit, giving away just as much money, but we got a $1, $150 guarantee. If you want to play for a little bit of money and have a potential to win a lot, you can do it in that tournament now.
Oh, baby.
Free rolls every single day of the week. We got a lot going on. It's a lot of fun. And I hate to say it, but there are a lot of unwritten rules, but there are none in fantasy sports. Stop being a whiny baby.
It's all a go, baby.
Take it easy, guys.